Hello, everyone. This is Laura, and welcome back to Become a Fluent English Speaker. Today, I want to tell you about a small decision that taught me something surprising about the human brain. It started with a restaurant, not a fancy restaurant, just a small restaurant near my home. For almost 2 years, I ordered the same meal every time I went there. I knew exactly what I wanted. I knew how it tasted. I knew how long it would take. And I never had to think about my choice. One evening, I went there with a friend. The waiter handed us the menu. I looked at my usual meal. Then my friend said, "Why don't you try something different today?" I laughed. "Because I already know what I like." My friend smiled. "How do you know you don't like something else if you've never tried it?" That question stayed in my mind. So I looked at the menu again. I chose something completely different. When the food arrived, I took my first bite. And honestly, I loved it. It was better than my usual meal. I looked at my friend and laughed. I've been eating the same thing for 2 years, just because it was familiar. That night, I started thinking about how often we do the same thing in life. We choose the same routine. We talk to the same people. We watch the same types of videos. We take the same route. We avoid unfamiliar situations. Why? Because familiar things feel safe. Our brains don't have to work as hard when we already know what to expect. Think about your favorite chair. You know exactly how it feels. You know where everything is in your room. You know the route you normally take to work. You don't have to think about every little decision. Your brain likes that. It saves energy. But there's a problem. Something being familiar doesn't necessarily mean it's better. Sometimes familiar simply means comfortable, and comfortable can become a trap. I realized this when I decided to change another part of my life. I had always been nervous about speaking English with strangers. I could practice alone. I could read books. I could listen to podcasts. But speaking with a real person felt uncomfortable. I kept telling myself, I'll do it when my English gets better. Then I realized something. My English wouldn't become better if I kept avoiding the exact situation. I needed to practice. So one afternoon, I walked into a small cafe and started a conversation with a tourist sitting nearby. My heart was beating fast. I made mistakes. I forgot some words. I even used a few sentences incorrectly. But something amazing happened. The conversation continued. The other person understood me. We laughed. We talked about travel, food, and different cultures. When I left the cafe, I realized something important. I hadn't needed perfect English. I had simply needed the courage to leave my familiar routine. That experience changed how I think about learning. Growth often begins with discomfort. Maybe you've been afraid to meet new people. Maybe you've wanted to start exercising. Maybe you've wanted to learn a new skill. Maybe you've been thinking about making a change for months. Your brain might be saying, "Stay where you are." That's normal. Your brain is trying to protect you from uncertainty. But you don't have to obey every uncomfortable thought. You can take one small step. You don't need to change your entire life tomorrow. Try a new meal. Take a different route. Talk to someone new. Read about a subject you know nothing about. Say something in English even if your grammar isn't perfect. Small changes teach your brain something powerful. New doesn't always mean dangerous. Sometimes, new means opportunity. Before we finish today's podcast, let's learn some useful English vocabulary from today's story. Familiar means something you already know well. Unfamiliar means something you don't know or recognize well. Routine means the regular activities you usually do. Comfortable means feeling relaxed and safe. Uncertainty means not knowing what will happen. Avoid means to stay away from something. Opportunity means a chance to do something useful or valuable. Discomfort means a feeling of uneasiness when something doesn't feel natural or easy. Now here's today's challenge. Do one small unfamiliar thing today. Nothing dangerous, nothing extreme, just something different. If you normally stay quiet, start a conversation. If you always watch the same type of content, try something new. If you've been afraid to speak English, say one sentence to someone today. Then notice how you feel afterward. You might discover that the thing you were avoiding wasn't as frightening as you imagined. Before you leave, answer today's question in the comments. What's one new thing you've always wanted to try? I'd love to read your answers. If you enjoyed today's English listening podcast, don't forget to subscribe to Become a Fluent English Speaker. This is Laura, and remember, your comfort zone feels safe because it's familiar. Your growth begins when you become willing to explore beyond it. Keep listening, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next podcast.